When it comes to games on this page, sometimes I like to cover really epic RPGs. Sometimes I have things that I'm passionate about. And sometimes, like in this case, I like to review things that are a little different. Enter Erophone, RE, for Steam. The game is not out yet, but it is on its way soon. And it is a puzzle game that is listed as adults only. This game's story is not easy to describe. Not because it's wildly complicated, but more so because I'm playing it in English, and from what I can tell, it's translated using something similar to Google Translate. A lot of the text has grammatical errors, and a big point of confusion for me also stems from a constant flipping of gender terms. I'd like to reiterate, though, that while I've had this game, it has had multiple updates, seemingly improving the translations, and the game is still being improved as it has not been officially released, with no official release date set in stone. With that out of the way, I'm going to attempt to explain my rough understanding of the story. You play as a main character living a very ordinary life in a big city. One day, while either heading to work or returning to work, you stumble upon a mysterious cell phone laying on the ground. For reasons unknown to you, you decide to keep it and check it out at your house. The phone acts kinda weird and has a strange app on it. After using it, you end up meeting some quirky gamer chick with a tail like an animal. For whatever reason, you spend a lot of time with her at an arcade, helping her beat a difficult retro game and then continue the relationship by going to other locations, eventually meeting her acquaintances and developing relationships with them as well. A little later, you discover they are all part of a species or group called Agents, and you'll start to explore the hidden areas in the city for them while realizing they are also being hunted. I'm not 100% on what the main purpose of the game is, but I spent a few hours being mostly curious about where it was going. The story takes you to some weird places, you end up in some bizarre situations, and new female agents come into play at an almost shocking rate sometimes as the mystery reveals itself. Due to the poor translations, it's almost impossible for me to firmly state it's a good story, but despite that, I did find myself more engaged in events than I expected. I'd wager with further improvements, it would be pretty decent. The story is out of the way, so what's the gameplay like? If I had to pin it to a genre, I'd say it's a visual novel with puzzles scattered in between. I actually like how they tackle this though, as events occur from day to day with both a day and night cycle occurring. Generally, you'll wake up to a morning sequence, then you'll move out to a little 3D animated top-down of the city map where you can choose from a few activities. I know that sounds like it offers some choice-based paths, but it's linear. Your options are to choose text bubble scenarios where you read some dialogue with citizens and learn more about the story, sometimes helping people out, or you choose large picture icons which progress the story forward. From my experience, picking one progressing icon doesn't mean you lose out on the others. It's more of just an order choice as you do the others after you're done with what you picked. Lastly, the most gameplay part of the gameplay is the cell phone puzzles. I'm honestly still super confused at this system, but at certain points of the game, you'll be placed on a screen where you'll see your cell phone on the left and a scene over the rest of your screen. You have a time limit, and your goal is to move your mouse over the scene, which your phone shows a duplicate of, and your goal is to find the differences. An example of this is seeing a glass on a table on the phone, but in the scene the glass is a bottle. You'll be able to click the item and it'll ping the difference. If you don't find them all before the time is up, you lose, and will be asked to start over again. First few of these I did were fine, and initially I liked the mechanic. But on the third one, I hit the hardest wall where I could not for the life of me find the last difference. I gave up multiple times and eventually asked Bree to help play, who found the last one, but only by sheer luck, as she was just randomly clicking and didn't actually see a difference. It was super frustrating and made me think that this game really needs a good hint system, but maybe something low-key where you only get one hint after failing the level multiple times or something. At this point, I need to address the elephant in the room. Is this an H game? My build of the game has absolutely no H content, but gameplay-wise, this is definitely something made to include that content in it. I actually looked up the creators and found there is a previous game to this one, titled just Erophone, with no re on it, and it has an 18+ patch. It wouldn't shock me in the slightest if that patch exists for this game too on release, but you won't catch me using it on YouTube. My final thoughts are a bit of a grab bag, but I think with better translations and a very light addition to an assistance on the spot the different sections, the game would be a bit of fun. Check out and wishlist the game on Steam now using the link in the description. And if you want to see more anime news, reviews, and gaming, subscribe to Yokozo Otaku. And hit like on this content if you like it, because that's cool too, because you're a cool guy.